I have one question, though. We brought it up a few weeks ago. We were talking a little bit about private mortgage insurance, and I thought it related to, like, you know, if something were to happen, if it, say a couple. So, for example, my husband and I, God forbid anything happened to me, like if my Facebook stalker came and snatched me as I'm leaving the radio show or something like that, how is he going to possibly pay that mortgage without my income, my humongous income, by the way?
So you're talking about the PMI.
Private mortgage insurance?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I think it's a huge misconception. People often think it covers them, the home buyer or the homeowner. It's actually, PMI is designed for the lender.
Yes.
It's to cover the lender for the 20% of equity not paid in the house.
Okay.
Okay. So if anything did happen to you, I don't know what Eric would do.
Poor guy.
I know.
What happens? Now, this brings me to a new thought. All these mortgage, all of this not paying your mortgage stuff, if you know, unfortunately lose your job or whatever, private mortgage insurance, that covers the lender. So what would they give a crap if I don't pay my mortgage? I don't have PMI in my house, but let's say I did. And I'm paying that stupid $150 a month for the PMI because I didn't have enough money to put down because I couldn't afford the damn house anyway.
Calm down.
But let's say, I mean, I'm offending people. I'm sorry, but you know what? That's the facts. Because I was in that position before where I couldn't put a lot of money down on a house, and I had PMI,
Pat,
private mortgage.
we've been on the air for 8 months. You have never yet done a show that you haven't offended somebody. Trust me.
Oh, that's right.
Go on.
I forgot. Okay, thanks. So, what's the big deal if I had PMI? Because most of these people that have PMI, and hypothetically, if they lose their job and they're getting foreclosed on in a couple of years, what does the bank care? The insurance is covering the mortgage, right?
The insurance is covering the mortgage, but the insurance is covering the mortgage more per se for the lenders to sell the mortgage on the secondary market, the mortgage-backed securities.
Oh.
It ensures the private investors that if there is default, that they're covered up to a certain percentage. And then why it's 80% is because when you see foreclosures, there's so many fees involved with that, and it takes such a long time that the bank's really eating a lot of that money.
Oh,
now,
okay.
As of, with what we've seen in the last year or two, now that it's just not just a couple foreclosures, the rampant amount of foreclosures, that's why you see a lot of the PMI fees going up, try to cover their losses because they're taking it right now.
Not to mention with the foreclosures, they get stripped of their copper.
The copper, that's true.
$2 to $3 a pound. What do you think of my tip on painting the copper?
I've actually heard that tip before.
You have?
An investor
You didn't hear
told me
it
that.
first on Property Source Radio?
Well,
That's it. Our showmance is over.
You heard it live with Brenna Hartman, the Fixie Chick.
Yeah, that was a quick showmance.
That was a quick one.
Quick and dirty.
I'm sorry.
An investor did tell you, though, you've heard that
because with the
interesting,
because investors try to get the property and they buy a lot of foreclosed property, and like in the bathroom, everything was ripped out. Downstairs, everything was ripped out. They ripped all the copper out of the house before they left the house.
So you've got to be a real shallow or naive or just plain stupid to not know a painted piece of piping is not copper based on the vintage of the home.
I'm thinking if you're ripping off copper from a house, you must be pretty shallow to begin with.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
I don't know.
All right,
What do you think?
All right, I don't know.
There's also a lot of anger in what people do when they leave a foreclosed house.
Oh,
I've seen drywall ripped in half. Insulation in the basement was completely ripped out. You see a lot of crazy stuff in foreclosures.
Really?
Yeah.
See, now the anger shouldn't be there because if you don't make your payments, it's not the house's fault to rip it apart. Do you know what I mean? The house didn't really do anything,
Yeah.
It just was there, And it's just sad. I know. Actually, I heard a story. It's probably going to give people ideas for scams, but I'm going to tell you a quick story. I know a realtor personally, and he sold a house about 5 years ago now, and the parents gave the down payment to the children to buy the house. The children did not make one payment and he made me guess how many months. For 24 months. 2 years they lived in the house without making payment one. I says, you know what? I wish I didn't put as much down on my house because I'd do that in a minute. I'll tell you what, living like a rock star for free for 2 years. No, I wouldn't. I just thought I'd talk about that. It's the house man.
We just got waved to.
We got waved to by the house.
Another Facebook stalker of mine.
I didn't know he was. I didn't know he was a stalker of yours. That's kind of cool.
I'm just kidding. So tell us real quick about the loan process, because we need to settle Pat down.
Yeah.
He's got to go on vacation with his family today. Let's just talk about something nice and easy. Or is the loan process totally stressful?
Yeah, I mean,
I know the answer.
Yes,
Don't lie, Rob.
I'm sorry to say, it is a stressful time. Refinancing, purchasing, it's gotten to the point where you need so much documentation, so much explanation. Everything really needs to be. It's a black and white issue. It's by the book. If you have a late payment 3 years ago, you have to explain why you had a late payment. If you have, if your weekly paycheck is $600 a week, and you have a deposit of $350 1 week, why?
Why? It's strict.
It's extremely strict.
Like, what'd you do with your other 300?
No, on top of your pay. So if you just had, say you just picked up some, you took your jug
money.
of change, babysitting money, waitressing money, whatever you did.
Yeah. There's all kinds of stories.
You have to explain it. You have to, provide documentation where that money came from. So the loan process can be stressful. But I guess that's the point of where our job comes in, just to make it at least amount as stressful as possible. But it's a lot of documentation. It's a lot of documentation.
Yeah. So it's pretty rough nowadays.
So bring a blood sample, hair sample.
You could do that.
It was rough 15 years ago. I was buying houses here and there. It was pretty rough then too, because I remember I had cash. I put a house in I had my wife buy before we bought the house. I put it in her name, and we had a down payment.
Not a scam.
It's not a scam. And we had like 15% cash down or whatever it was. And I gave her the cash, and it was just cash because I wasn't married to her. So a family member has to give you the cash and justify it. And so they said, sign the form. And I called my father-in-law and I said, can you give us whatever the money was? And he goes, sure, I'll give it to you. Just sign my name. I signed his name. And the bank said, where'd the money come from? I said, my father-in-law.
You heard it here.
Right?
Property source. This is unbelievable. What am I shouldn't be talking now,
There's
Brenna.
sirens out there.
I know.
They're coming to get you, finally.
But it was strict then because they really wanted to see the receipt from his bank account. And I said, no, it came from my father-in-law. It's safe.
Yeah, they want to see receipts, where the money came from, making sure that.
So that hasn't changed much, is what his stories. He just
my stories are coming out of my ears.
He picks things up.
Yeah.
So
go ahead. Sorry.
So, but you really, I think what we're saying is that things are really changing now.
Things are really changing. I hear a lot of, well, I didn't have to do this the first time I bought my house, or I didn't have to do this the last time I refinanced. And you have to understand that the banks are changing, and a lot of it is, again, knee-jerk reaction to all the criticism they're getting. And a lot of it, as well as with the bailout money that the lenders accepted, they're now federally audited to make sure in order to get that bailout money, they need to have their portfolio needs to be by the book, and that each loan is approved.
Well, that's good.
It's good. It also, the problem is that they pass it on to the consumer, instead of taking a little bit more responsibility themselves.
Pat loves that.
Yeah, pass it on to the consumer. You want to get me fired up again, don't you?
No.
Because we don't have enough time for me to get fired up.
Deep breath.
Yeah, I'm breathing deep. Sorry. That's very informative, by the way.
He loves
Rob.
to pass it on to the consumer.
Yeah, another tax on the consumer.
So if some single chick wanted to come in and see you for a mortgage,
Give me so much trouble.
Tell us.
Oh my God.
Tell us how it works.
Yeah. I hope her girlfriend's sleeping still, Rob.
Oh, she's listening.
Oh, jeez, this isn't good.
I'm harmless.
If this person came in to see me for a mortgage, basically what we do is just simply run a credit check and a pre-qualification. We need to make sure that everything, all the numbers line up before we do anything before. You see a lot, and even now you still see a lot, is that people just give pre-qualifications out like candy. I think it's really important to sit down with a new client and go over everything, because there's a lot of things that need to be addressed right up front to make sure that they're ready for the whole transaction, instead of, here's a slip of paper, go find a house.
How do you determine how much you can borrow?
That's usually run basically on the debt-to-income ratio. That's pretty much the primary focus on how much you can borrow, where a monthly payment would fit within your other debts, and how much you make.
So do you help with that?
Help with that?
Help me. Help me determine how much I can borrow.
Oh, yes. I can help you with that, yes. I can't skew the numbers or anything like that, but yes, I can definitely help you with that.
I can't skew the numbers. We didn't mean to get you thinking we need that over there. We can afford it.
Scans and skewing.
Yeah, I got you all messed up. Sorry, Rob.
It's all right.
Did you have a nice time on Property Source Radio today?
I had a great time. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Come back and see us again.
Yeah, I'd love to.